Hi, I'm Neil and thank you very much for joining me today for a review of Deep Regrets. This is a 1 to 5 player game all about rolling dice, catching fish, upgrading your boat, trying not to go too mad with some great endgame scoring. It takes about 30 minutes per player. I'm going to give you an overview of the game and then give you my final thoughts for it. Before we do that, special thanks to Tactics Games and the Instagram UK Board Game Review Circle for the loaned copy. All thoughts are definitely my own, but just keep in mind that the gameplay components are not yet finalised as the game's still on Kickstarter, so it could change up to release. My review is of course based on the copy that's been sent to me. At the time of recording this review, Deep Regrets is going very well on Kickstarter. This is definitely because of the great campaign Tactics have run, but also partly due to the incredible artwork and simple to understand gameplay on offer. What makes that so amazing is it's all from the brain of one person, Judson Cowan. I am massively in awe of designers who have a unique vision for a game and not only make it a reality, but also knock it out of the park in both the art department and components. Each card is beautifully illustrated with grotesque fish and other underwater surprises. The boards are easy to read and play a functionally important part of the game without getting in the way or taking up too much space. The components are all very well designed with no unnecessary bloat or excess you sometimes get from a Kickstarter. The rulebook is really well laid out and designed to get you up and fishing as quickly as possible. Special mention to the back of the fish cards, which show a shadow size hinting at the size of the fish you will find if you reveal it. A great way of utilising all space to make the game even easier to play. Deep Regrets follows hot on the tails of one of my favourite Switch games of the last few years, Dredge. A game all about going out to catch fish, upgrading your boat, discovering secrets, and desperately trying not to go mad from your grotesque discoveries under the water. The gameplay is not a massively complicated affair. As you play over 6 days, you will roll some excellent 4-sided dice, choose to go out to fish or stay in port having a shopping spree. At the end of the 6th day, scores will be tallied and the player with the most points wins. When fishing, you reveal a card from one of the 3 depths and then hopefully you will have the required value dice to catch the revealed fish. Some fish will have effects just for finding them, catching them or eating them. Why oh why you would eat any of these fish is beyond me. Unfortunately, some fish also give you regret, which is kept track of on a separate board. Once you reach different thresholds of regret, you start to go mad and this affects the value of the fish you sell, how many dice you can hold and the final game scoring. Regret is an interesting mechanism in which the best players will use it to their advantage. Having more madness definitely enables you to play a more daring game. By holding more dice you will have more actions and selling the foul fish for a larger profit. The problem is you will lose points at the end of the game if you have the most madness. When you go to port you can upgrade your ship by buying new rods and reels which offer permanent abilities or special items which offer powerful one-time abilities. To buy these you will need to sell your fish for money. Lastly, you can mount any fish you have caught in one of the 3 places located on your ship as trophies. When mounted, you increase that fish points value by either 2 or 3 times. Most days will be spent in the sea fishing, with players only going to port when they want to upgrade their ship and mount their prize catches. This did give rise to one small problem I had with the game, which was the timing of this. As going to port uses a whole day, it can feel like a waste if all the other players stayed out in the deep blue grabbing all the fish they could handle. There is an option to use a lifeboat when out fishing to bring yourself back to port in the same day, but this causes you to have a large amount of madness at the end of the game. During final scoring, the player with the most madness loses their most valuable mounted fish, which can hurt a lot, especially if your mounted fish was valued at 8 and it was in the ×3 slot. 24 points washed away as easy as that. The game feels perfectly suited for 3 players, although it works quite well at 2. I just found that at 3, the competition between players to grab the bigger, more foul fish was fiercer and the final reveal of madness was more exciting. To combat this, in the 2-player game, the player with the most madness loses their least valuable fish, so it doesn't matter if one player goes all out for madness and the other player doesn't. I enjoy the round end mechanism where players take it in turns having 1 action each until all but 1 player has passed. This player now only has 2 more actions to complete before the end of the day. In a 2-player game, choosing to pass just after the other player has chosen to use their lifeboat feels very mean, as you'll know they'll get only 2 actions in port. The solo mode included is very addictive and feels like a computer game in itself. Played over 5 days, spent in the sea only, you're just trying to collect as many unique fish as possible with the ultimate aim of completing your ocean survey of every fish. At the end of the last day, you must throw back into the ocean the value of fish equal to your regrets. Any fish left over are marked on your survey, and then you can spend the value of those fish on upgrades that carry over from game to game. In the first few games you will always find new fish, but as your survey gets completed you'll need to search deeper and deeper to find unique fish you need. I am 5 solo games in and my survey sheet looks barely completed. The playtime is 30 minutes per player, and that is why I found the 4 or 5 player games a little too long. For what you're doing, rolling dice, pushing your luck, etc., I don't want to be playing for 2 hours. I will say that we have quickly reduced the length of time playing at 2 players to about 45 minutes in total. So with 4 experienced players, it could be closer to a 90-minute game. Still, this may be a little too long for how simple the mechanisms are. Sticking with the mechanisms, I hope from watching this review you can tell there is no deep strategic game planning required with lots of head scratching. Instead, you're trying to maximise each day by utilising the dice to the best of your ability, grabbing fish where you can and mounting the most valuable ones. This may be too simple for some people, but I thoroughly enjoy playing Deep Regrets and will continue to do so. Finally, I would like to mention the life preserver mechanism, which I really like. After all players have rolled their dice, the player with the highest cumulative roll gives the preserver to any other player. This allows that player a discount of 2 on any fish they catch or items they buy. This simple catch-up mechanism leads to some agonising decisions for the person who is handing out the preserver. So, would I buy this game for my collection? Yes. The theme, artwork, components and simple to teach gameplay kept me coming back for more. Plus that solo mode was super addictive. Some things I really like about the game is the great theme that sucks you into the world. Amazing artwork and components, easy to understand rulebook, simple to teach and play, and once again that clever and addictive solo mode. Couple of things I'm not so keen on. The 30 minutes per player could outstay its welcome at the 4 or 5 player count. Obviously with experienced players this could be a lot quicker, but for the first game it could be on the table for a while. The very simple push your luck gameplay may not be enough for some people. You need to be aware of that when you're going into this, that this isn't a big head scratchy game. This is just an instant gratification fun type of game. The timing for returning to port may stay quite similar from game to game, and that's kind of something I have noticed in a multiplayer game. You tend to do a lot of fishing, go back, a lot of fishing, go back one more time. We'll see how that goes over time. My rating for Deep Regrets is, if you like the look of this from everything you've seen from this review, go and back it now. You can see the link to the Kickstarter in the comments below. My Board Game Geek rating is a 7.5 out of 10. Could go higher, but at the moment, that's where it's sitting. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me for this review of Deep Regrets. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers!